Hey y'all, Dustin here. Rivalries are probably my favorite thing about college football. No matter how much you love your team, there's probably a team you hate just as much. Rivalries bring us the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Whether it's for state or conference bragging rights or for trophies or just 'cause you're better than that other team. Few things in sports are better than college football rivalries. So today I wanted to take a look at the top 10 rivalries that have been lost to the conference realignment and rivalries we desperately need to bring back, not just for a couple of years here and there, not just in hopes that we face each other in bowl games, but every single year. Number 10, Wake Forest and Vanderbilt. Yes, this is where I'm starting this list. Please don't click away. The good news is not a whole lot of rivalries have been lost that can't be or haven't been regained in some way. But let's be honest, if you actually paid attention to these two schools in this game, it meant so much to them, at least as an outsider looking in, because for its history, Wake Forest has pretty much been a bottom dweller in the ACC, and for its history, Vanderbilt has pretty much been a bottom dweller in the SEC. Florida State has become so big on a national scale in part because of the prominence each team holds within its conference, the ACC and the SEC. This is like the exact opposite of that. Wake Forest and Vanderbilt are at the bottom of their games pretty much year in and year out, and occasionally, once every 3 presidents or something, they will have a random year where they go 10-2, and that's fine. This was a nice little rivalry in the 2000s. Between 2005 and 2013, they played 7 times. The results were a little bit streaky, but to be honest, neither team has a rival outside of their conference. Really, neither team has a real rival inside their conference. I mean, I guess you got Wake Forest and Duke and Vanderbilt and Tennessee, but those either aren't really rivalries or nobody cares. This way, you have ACC versus SEC implications and bragging rights for each conference, as well as they played on Rivalry Saturday. Just bring it back. Alright, it was small and inconsequential, but I enjoyed it. I'm sure the two schools enjoyed it. Just, literally, it doesn't matter. Just bring it back, please. Number 9, Arkansas and Texas. These two teams were in the Southwest Conference together from 1915 to 1991. That's a long history. The 1969 game between these two teams decided the national champion that year and was attended by President Richard Nixon and is generally considered to be one of the greatest football games of all time. They're border rivals and they've played 78 times. You have Woo Pig Sooie versus Bevo. Come on, just bring it back. I know it's not likely considering both are in pretty tough conferences, and I just can't imagine Texas wanting a stable out-of-conference rival, but this is about theoreticals, right? So make it happen. Number 8, Louisville and Cincinnati. These two rivals are separated by only 100 miles on I-71 and have an awesome name not only for their trophy, but for their rivalry, the Keg of Nails. They've played 53 times right up until 2013 when Louisville left for the ACC. These two teams have basically emerged at the same time, have evolved at the same time. They both started as kind of lower level schools. They both got into the Big East or the American, and then Louisville has moved on to the ACC, to a Power 5 conference, and Cincinnati is desperately trying to get into the Big 12, a Power 5 conference. This rivalry is natural. You have Kentucky versus Ohio, birds versus cats, Bearcats. Come on, just bring it back. Number 7, Pittsburgh versus Penn State. Yes, they play this year and a couple of years going forward, but this list is about bringing back annual rivalries, and this should be one. These two teams are from the same state, a football crazy state at that, and have played 96 times since 1893. To put that into context, they played their very first game, a 32-0 Penn State win, before the United States added 6 states to the Union. The series record sits at 50, 24-4, making it one of the closest in winning percentage in the country. Slap a catchy name on the rivalry and bring it back. Number 6, Miami and Florida. We all know the rivalry between Florida State and Florida and Miami, But we're missing a link, and that is Miami and Florida. These teams played every year from 1944 to 1987, and the winner wins the Seminole War Canoe Trophy, which is awesome, and we should bring it back. Think how many great teams and players and coaches have come from both of these programs, and I think we, as college football fans, deserve to see them play against each other every year. Now, luckily, they're kicking off the 2019 season against each other, but really, we need more than one game here. Do you remember the 2008 meeting between these two teams? That is the stuff the rivalries are made out of. We need more of it. Number 5, Oklahoma versus Nebraska. These two college football powerhouses met every single year from 1928 to 1997 when they moved to the Big 12. And until 2010, they played kind of semi-sparingly every few years. Then Nebraska left for the Big 10, and they haven't played since. Here's a fun fact for you. Between 1962 and 2004, every single time these two teams met each other, at least one of them were ranked in the top 25. These two teams really, really don't like each other, and more often than not, when they were facing each other, they were battling it out for top prizes in college football, such as conference and national championships. They thwarted each other's national championship hopes, and twice they met in the Big 12 championship game. Honestly, this is one of my favorite types of rivalries, where the two teams are historic powerhouses and they battle it out for pride, state pride, school pride. They just hate one another and they want to be better than the other one. It's like two heavyweight boxers fighting for the title. I think college football is better when these two teams play. Number 4, Pitt versus West Virginia. Separated by only 75 miles, this game is known as the Backyard Brawl. Their last meeting was in 2011 before West Virginia joined the Big 12, but before that, they played 103 games. My theory is any rivalry with over 100 meetings should never end. These two teams have been playing since the 19th century, and they hate each other. The 2007 meeting between these two teams ended West Virginia's national championship hopes, and the 2009 game was the most watched in the history of ESPN2. Now this game is scheduled to come back for 4 meetings between 2022 and 2025, but it needs to continue beyond that. Number 3, Michigan and Notre Dame. Now a couple of weeks ago it was announced that these two teams were going to face off in a home-and-home series in 2018 and 2019, but seriously, that's not enough. This needs to continue to be an annual game, or at least until Notre Dame joins a conference. These teams have only played 42 times, but doesn't it seem like they've been playing forever? I guess when you have two huge brands like this that are pretty close to each other relatively, I mean, it's a lot closer than when Notre Dame plays USC, it just feels like they're such natural rivals. They've just had such tradition and great players and coaches come through there. I think we deserve to see these two teams play every single year. Number 2, Kansas and Missouri. This rivalry is probably the only one based on actual warfare. These two states burst out into open warfare in the bloody Kansas time period before the official start of the Civil War. They were the oldest rivalry west of the Mississippi, having played 120 times between 1891 and 2012. And conference alignment took it all away. Hell, the two teams can't even decide how many games Missouri leads the rivalry by. Is it 57 to 54 to 9, or is it 56 to 55 to 9? Who knows? They hate each other so much they can't even agree on the record of the games. The Border War is a rivalry game that had no business going away and is one of the biggest casualties the conference realignment grab of the early 2010s. If you want to see the absolute highlight of this rivalry, go back and watch the 2007 game between the two at Arrowhead. And the number one college football rivalry game that we desperately need to bring back is between the Texas Longhorns and the Texas A&M Aggies. To me, this is the absolute college football rivalry that we lost due to conference realignment. This one hurt me, and I've never even been to the state of Texas. Because of this move, we did not get to see Johnny Manziel play against the Texas Longhorns. We don't have a built-in SEC Big 12 rivalry game. These two teams played every single year between 1915 and 2011. Hell, before World War II, there were plenty of times they played twice a year. All of a sudden, having an SEC schedule doesn't allow you to play somebody annually from out of conference? Give me a break, A&M. These two teams mention each other in their fight song. They have elaborate burnings and traditions before they play each other, and the UT Tower even has its own We Beat A&M lighting scheme. Get over your differences and play each other the last Saturday of the season like you're supposed to. We need you guys. Texas versus Texas A&M. It was like a Thanksgiving tradition that we sat around and watched you guys. Come back already. And that's my list. Any rivalries that I missed out? Let me know down in the comment section. Do you disagree with my order of things? Let me know down in the comment section. Do you completely and totally agree with every word I said? Let me know down in the comment section. Also, what is the rivalry that you missed the most? Maybe it wasn't due to conference realignment. Maybe you don't even want the rivalry back. Maybe one of the schools closed down. But what is the college football rivalry that you missed the most? Just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, especially if you made it this far. I can't thank you enough. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Every single one of those helps. You can also hit the red subscribe button down below in order not to miss any more college football content coming your way. Thank you again for watching, and as always, until next time. Hey y'all, Dustin here. Rivalries are probably my favorite thing about college football. No matter how much you love your team, there's probably a team you hate just as much. Rivalries bring us that can't be or haven't been regained in some way. But let's be honest, if you actually paid attention to these two schools in this game, it meant so much to them, at least as an outsider looking in, because... So today, I wanted to take a look at the top 10 rivalries that have been lost to the conference realignment, and rivalries we desperately need to bring back, not just for a couple of years here and there, not just in hopes that we face each other in bowl games, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Whether it's for state or conference bragging rights, or for trophies, or just 'cause you're better than that other team. Few things in sports are better than college football rivalries, but every single year. Number 10, Wake Forest and Vanderbilt. Yes, this is where I'm starting this list. Please don't click away. The good news is, not a whole lot of rivalries have been lost that